Hey, Brandon. Thanks for taking the time today. We're going to start out with an opening statement from Brandon, and then we'll turn it over to questions.
I appreciate everybody being, here today. Just, bear with me as I read this. Um, how do I say goodbye, or how do you say goodbye to something you've known your whole life? Something that taught you triumph, pain, success, failure, perseverance, love, empathy, and altruism. I don't know, but I'll try my best. Yes, after 10 years in this game, it's true I am retiring. I would like to thank my family for all their love and support, to my parents, all the early mornings and late nights, all the road trips to different camps, and all the games you would come to support me. I appreciate it. Thank you, and I love you. I'd like to thank the McNair family, the Houston Texans organization, Gary Kubiak and Rick Smith for taking a chance on a kid from Milwaukee. I'd like to thank Carl Durrell, Rico Dennison, Cedric Smith, Larry Kirksey, Sean Washington, Khalil Reed, Bill Kolar, and Vance Joseph. I'd also like to thank Captain Rowland of the training staff. I'd especially like to thank John Benton, my first O-line coach. You were influential in my development as a player and a human being. I'd like to thank y'all for everything. Special shout out to Bill O'Brien, George Godsey, Mike Devlin and his staff for everything too. I'd like to thank the city of Houston for the love and support during my time there. The city and the fans will always have a special place in my heart. I also appreciate all of my OGs for showing me how to succeed in this game and what being a pro means. Thank you to my teammates, Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, Chris Myers, Wade Smith, Dwayne Brown, Derek Newton, J.J. Watt, Ben Tate, Owen Daniels, Devere Posey, Antonio Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, Whitney Merciless, Brian Cushing, Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson, Ryan Harris, Moran Norris, Andrew Gardner, and Ben Jones. Great players, but even better people. Thank you all. I'd like to thank Jeffrey Lurie and the Lurie family, Howie Roseman, and Doug Peterson. You were there for my brightest days and my darkest ones. You were always in my corner and will be family forever. Thank you for allowing me the honor of being an Eagle. The past 6 years, I wouldn't trade for the world. I attacked my rehab with the intensity and passion I always do, but making it back this season just wasn't in the cards. It didn't end the way that I would have liked it, but to me, it's never about the ending, it's about the journey. I was fortunate enough to go on this journey with a group of brothers, not teammates, but family. It was an honor to play with Jason Peters, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Darren Sproles, Jordan Matthews, Malcolm Jenkins, Fletcher Cox, Rodney McLeod, Chris Long, Vinnie Curry, Michael Bennett, Carson Wentz, Isaac Seumalo, Stephen Wisniewski, Brent Selleck, Zach Ertz, Nick Foles, Connor Barwin, Benny Logan, Marcus Smith, Kenyon Barner, Ryan Matthews, Derek Barnett, TJ Edwards, Nate Herbig, Javon Hargrave, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Rager, and Josh Sweat. There are a lot of other teammates that I would like to name too, but I didn't want this to take all day. Thanks, it was an honor. You'll always be family. I would like to thank coaches, Frank Wright, Deuce Staley, Eugene Chung, Greg Lewis, John DiFilippo, Jim Schwartz, Chris Wilson, Philip Daniels, Corey Unlin, Mike Rowe, Justin Pill, Joe Panunzio, and Dave Phipp. Thank you for everything. I'd like to thank the current staff as well because they've been excellent. Coach Sirianni, you're a hell of a coach, a hell of a person. I wish you nothing but continued success, and you have built great roots. Thank you to Shane Steichen, Rich Ganna, Michael Clay, Jamal Singleton, Kevin Patullo, Brian Johnson, Jason Michael, Nick Rallis, Tracy Rocker, Jeremiah Washburn, and Denard Wilson. Tremendous coaches, teachers, and people. Thank you. Last, but certainly not least, Jeffrey Stoutland. Where do I start? I feel like it's rare to have a coach that is impactful on the field as off. You took me from being a good player to being the best in my position. Even while I was there, you pushed me continuously to strive for more because hungry dogs run faster and always will. Just as you helped me on the field, you helped me off. Through all my struggles and low moments, I could always count on a phone call from you The topic never being about football, but just life and how you could help. You are more than a coach and have been for a while. You are family and always will be. Anything, anytime, anywhere, never hesitate to reach out. I'd also like to thank some people behind the scenes. Thanks to Big Don for everything. It also applies to you. Anything, anytime, anywhere. Sincerely, thank you. Thanks to John Ferrari as well. Thanks to Troy for all you do in the building. Thank you, Pee Wee, Keisha, and Tim, and all the cafeteria staff for all you do. Thank you, G. Thank you, Craig, Nick, Mario, Ed, Pete, and the equipment staff. Thank you, Pat Dolan, Pat McDowell, Mike Menace, Ben, Keith, and Josh of the weight room staff. Thank you, Steve, Jerome, Monty, Joe, Shireen, Chris Peduzzi, Shanice, Mark, Mike, Tommy, and Trey of the training staff. I wouldn't have made it back in record time through all these injuries without y'all. Lastly, to the city and the fans. I was extremely fortunate to help bring a championship to the city, have multiple Pro Bowl appearances, but none greater than having the honor of being an Eagle and putting the midnight green on and playing in front of the greatest fans in the world. The city of brotherly love is just that, love. Since day one, you've had my back and supported me through my ups and downs by sending love and support through my personal struggles. Y'all will always be family to me, and I couldn't imagine finishing my career anywhere else. I hope that in return, I did my best to represent the city through my play and how I played. Although I may no longer play, I'll be an Eagle forever. Will always bleed green. And if I could leave you with anything, it would be this. Defeat is never fatal. Victory is never final. It's the courage that counts.
Thanks, Brandon. We'll start here with Tim McManus and then Jimmy Kempski.
Hey, Brandon, thank you, first of all, for sharing that with us and wishing you well in retirement, man. Just if you could tell us when you kind of came to this decision and why now? What's going into it?
It's something I, wrestle with since really last off season. And, I think in this game, although I'm a young man, in the game of life, I'm older now at 32. I think my body is trying to tell me through these injuries that, can I still play? The answer is yes, but, the answer also at this point is can I hold up? After all these injuries, I just realized that, at what point do you listen to your body? And I think my body was, just telling me, and, I had to make a decision. And I think at this point in time, it's the right decision. Like I said in the letter, Jeffrey Stoutland's been a hell of a coach. I mean, he took me from where I was to the top. And I think the O-line room with Jordan Mailata, really coming into his own. You got Isaac coming back. You got Landon, Nate Herbig, Jack Driscoll. You got Lane and, guys like that. The room is in great hands moving forward. So I just think at this time it's best to step aside and, let them do their thing.
We'll go Jimmy Kempski and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Brandon. Congratulations on your career, first of all. What are your plans for the future? Do you plan to stay involved in football, or do you have anything else in mind?
Yeah. One, I appreciate you reaching out to me. I was, getting all this together. So for the people that reached out to me, I just want to say I wasn't ignoring you. I was just, trying to get my thoughts together and everything else. But so I'm going to, apply to business school. I'm going to apply for round 3 admissions over at Penn and, see how that goes. And but, other than that, I will be around. I'm Philly. I mean, this is home for me. I meant what I said and what I read. So, this will always be home for me.
We'll go Zach Berman and then Dave Zangara.
Hey, Brandon, congratulations on your career. Obviously, in these past few years, you were very public about mental health and anxiety. As you think about your legacy, what role do you want that to play in how public you were with it?
It has always been a part of me. It will always be a part of me. It will always be something that, I deal with. When it comes to that, I just want to be known as a person who is, transparent, a person who, just wanted to really just help others by sharing my story. So, yeah, it'll always be a part of my story, and I just try to be, truthful and transparent, about it. So.
We'll go Dave Zangaro and then Jamie Apodi.
Hey, Brandon. As you made your decision and you started to think back, what were some of the first memories that kind of flooded to you?
Dave, man, you've been with me a long time, man. So let's take it back. First training camp, I'll never forget this. This was kind of like my, wake up moment. I had I can already picture the older guys laughing at me too, but I had a heavy weekend, and I came in and was overweight on Monday. And at the end of the day, Coobs, used to have his red ass of the day, somebody who made him upset or somebody who didn't do what they were supposed to do. And he had just got done yelling at somebody, and then he turns his head, looks at me, and he tells me, like, hey, like, if you're going to be, because John Bent was my line coach, and he said, JB, did you see this? He said, I'm going to tell you right now, son, if you're going to be overweight, you might as well pack your stuff right now. And it was like, just, that was kind of a wake-up moment for me, like, oh, like, this isn't the game. Like, I need to, really be on it. I remember coming in the room with, Dwayne and Chris Myers and Wade and, them really taking me under their arms and showing me what it's like to, or showing me how to be a good offensive lineman, what it takes, all the hard work. I think of Arian Foster took me aside one day. It was kind of really the fork in the road for me as far as career-wise. He just told me, like, I see a lot of guys that, have potential but never reach it. And I asked him, well, how do you reach it? And he said, I come out here every day and I pick one thing to work on. And I just work on that for that day. And then the next day I do the same thing. And I said, well, after a certain amount of time, I mean, you're the best at your position. Like, do you ever like run out of stuff? And he said, I never get tired of the process. And that's one thing that has, always stuck with me, as I've played, to never get tired of the process, to never get tired of doing the little things right. Then when I got here, Jason Peters, especially amongst offensive linemen, is larger than life. Playing with him, I mean, he got a famous line. He said, counting his Pro Bowls is like counting to 10. And he's absolutely right. I mean, for him to be able to do what he did for so long and is still doing, I mean, it's like walking into the room with I mean, somebody larger than life. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So when I came here, just to be around him, to soak up the knowledge, to see how he played the game, and I was just really in awe that somebody his size could do what he was doing. When I first got here in 2016, we had to run sprints, and JB's a big guy, and I mean, he was like first in sprints, and it was just insane. Coming here with Jason Kelsey, nothing but great times with him. I mean, he's the engine that always made us go. I don't think people really understand how intelligent he is out there. Him consistently getting calls right. He's a coach on the field. He's a tremendous leader. Really, embraced me. First guy to take me down to the shore. Things like that. So, and Lane, we've been like brothers. Since day one, had ups and downs. Both had struggles. It's different as we are. At the end of the day, I realize how similar we are in a lot of ways. So those are some memories. And, obviously in 2017, winning the Super Bowl, one thing that I didn't realize was how important the championship was to the city. And you hear that a lot, but to see people dump, their grandmother's or grandfather's ashes out, or a guy came up to me the other day and was like, basically his mom's mom had passed, and for 3 hours on Sunday, it was like nothing else mattered. Like, we gave her that much joy watching us. So it's things like that, those memories that I always have.
Thank you.
Jamie and then Les Bowen.
Brandon, first of all, thank you for being just a true pro to cover through the years, and you're special around the locker room, and I think we'll all miss you covering you, and thanks for that. Do you realize the impact that you've made off the field? I don't know. I know you've talked about it, and whether it be with coming out about anxiety or visiting a school or talking to one of those grandparents that you just talked about, or people that lost a parent. Have you thought back and realized, you talked about the city and what it means to you and the fans, but have you realized what you mean to them?
At the end of the day, I just, with my play, like I said, I just wanted to, try to show the city that I loved them as much as I felt, they loved me, as much as they, supported me, things like that. So, and at the end of the day, I just wanted to be able to help. So, I just hope that I was able to give back and help them as much as it helped me.
Les and then Jeff McLean.
Brandon, I'm going to miss you. We can hang out as South Jersey retirees. I know where all the good early bird specials are. But I wanted to ask you, you alluded to this very briefly. There was a plan originally for you to get back this season. I think all of us were hoping you would get back and play, some more. What work out? What happened exactly?
Yeah, I think you realize at a certain age, your body's not necessarily recovering like it used to. It took a little longer than what I would have liked, and in the end, I didn't have enough time to get where I needed to be able to at least get a couple of practices under my belt. So that was kind of it in a nutshell. Like I said, it was unfortunate. Really, the last 2 years, how things ended, but for me, it was a lot more about the journey. You can't have joy without sadness, right? And the first 4 years, like I said, I wouldn't, trade for the world, if I had to, weather these last two. So, like I said, it was unfortunate. Wish I could have been out there, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen.
Does it seem like it's been forever since you had a time when you weren't rehabbing something? Can you remember when you weren't rehabbing something?
I mean, really, 2.5 years, just rehabbing and, trying to get back out there. It's funny, when a teammate told me, a game that, you get hurt in, you get serious injuries, and, you rush back to get back, and that's 100% true. Over the years, I've had, enough injuries, a lot. But each time, it was just a new challenge. The first Achilles was a challenge. The second Achilles was a challenge. The shoulder, the pec. It was always a challenge. I always enjoyed, the rehab process. I always enjoyed, trying to beat the odds. I always, enjoyed trying to get back earlier than, what they said. So, that's something I always, try to hang my hat on. But, at the end of the day, it was what it was.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
and by the
and
way,
then
Les,
Kevin.
I just had to say Les, man. Never change, man. Never change. I appreciate you.
Jeff and then John McMullen.
Brandon, thanks for doing this, and thanks for answering all my annoying questions at your locker stall all those years. You obviously, Lane was there for you when you were going through your struggles. What was your role this year with him and helping him to get through his struggles, mental health struggles, and can you put into words a little bit the pressures of having to go out there and play a sport in which people view you as gladiators, but how tough it is to be in that correct mental space to play under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, so I'll address, the lane part first. The first thing, because, so the morning of, the incident, obviously, with the game, they had let me know that, Lane was going through some things. And the first thing I thought of was, find out where he is and, drive over there. But, at that time, he had, left and, went to Oklahoma or whatever. And, the first thing that happened when he got back was, I went over his house, man. And, I really didn't have to say anything at first. We just sat there, man. Sometimes, words aren't necessarily needed. We sat there and really just, kind of reflected on life. The ups and downs, the struggles, the things you go through. It wasn't even a football conversation at that point. So, just like he had my back, I was always, through the ups and downs, wanted to have his. And, when he had his struggles, I think that made our bond a lot closer, a lot stronger. And, at the end of the day, just wanted to make sure, he was all right. Make sure that, the person that he is, he continues to be. So, that was really, really that. And then what was the second half of the question?
Just about putting into words, I know it's obviously you put a face on mental health struggles that athletes go to, but just in terms of football, what it takes to put yourself in the right mental state to go out there and play a game with the kinds of pressures and stress that I don't think the public may understand that.
Well, I could, liken it to, your hardest situation. Say you got a negotiation or a deal, I guess. It's like your hardest negotiation, your hardest anything that you go through in life. You're in a fishbowl, right? So you got, thousands and millions of people, watching. And, I guess at the end of the day, as highly paid athletes, we're expected to, be modern day gladiators and not have any feelings like, things to that nature. But at the end of the day, we are, human beings. We go through things just like, other people do. It's just, for us, a lot of our stumbles, a lot of our falls, a lot of our L's, are public. You continuously just have to be in the right mindset to go out there and play. And, they say try to block out the noise, but, you are human beings. You're always going to, hear, and we are in the age of social media. So, you're always going to see. And when I try to kind of just speak on my situation, I always try to let people know that, yeah, there's going to be some people that accept you. There's some people that, don't understand and, will reject you. Like that's a part of life. We're, like I said, we're highly paid athletes and, it's always like, well, you're making millions of dollars. So, but as a human being, I don't think you can put a price on, sanity, happiness. I don't think those things have prices. I don't think, money can take that place. So, there's always things you're gonna go through, and like I said, people are gonna love you or reject you for it, or I guess accept you or reject you for it. So, it is a lot. And I'd say using me and Lane, for example, you put so much pressure on yourself to be great, consistently great. I mean, you got to think about it, right? We play 60 to 80 offensive plays a game. And, one of my biggest issues was I could have 79 great plays, but that one play where something bad happened, it would just destroy me. That's all I would think of. And I think at the end of the day, for guys like us, it's a double-edged sword, right? It pushes you to be great, but, sooner or later, I guess it'll bubble to the surface. But at a certain point, I just realized that you're gonna have people that love you or hate you regardless. You got to be able to go out there and do what you do. And I think over the past 2 years and at 32, that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned, to be comfortable in your own skin, to be comfortable who you are. It's okay to like what you like. It's okay to go against the wave. It's okay to be judged because you're different, or because you choose a different path, or X, Y, and Z. I guess at the end of the day, I'm just saying it's okay to be comfortable in your skin. It's okay to be you. So
We'll go John McMullen and then John Clark.
Hi, Brandon. Thanks for doing this. Congratulations on a great career. I'm curious, just sort of what you said at the end, the social media stuff, and I've always been struck by the reverence a lot of you guys talked about JP with, and I was curious, towards the end of your career, some of the young guys, Herbie, Driscoll, you mentioned, they would talk about you like that, and Lane and Jason Kelsey. Did you recognize that your peers were talking about you like that? How much did that mean to you, that they would say, B. Brooks, best guard in the NFL?
Well, first I like to say, I don't know if there'll ever be another JP. So to even be, spoken about in that way is a huge honor, and a lot of respect for those guys. I wouldn't have been the player that I was, without those guys in Stoutland. Some of the things we were able to do, was special out there. And to the young guys, especially these last 2 years, I just tried to pass some of the knowledge down like the older guys did me. Like I said earlier, I was fortunate enough to have, Dwayne Brown, Chris Myers, Wade Smith, Jason Peters, Jason Kelsey, guys like that who I've been playing and who are already at a high level. If there's one thing I want to pass down to the younger guys, and, some things I always hung my hat on, is persistence and consistency. I always felt like if I could stay on that path, no matter what I was doing, I could get, to their level. And, just to the younger guys, the Herbies, the Driscolls, the Jordans, the Matt Pryors, when it comes to this game, when it comes to offensive line, just like Stout says, hungry dogs run faster. Never get tired of doing the basics. Never get tired of doing the small things over and over, because it allows the bigger things to become attainable. So, like I said, that's always something I tried to hang my hat on, and, just let it take me as far as it would take me. So, those are some things I just wanted to pass down to the young guys, and, some things I hung my hat on. And like I said, it's an honor to even be mentioned along the lines of JP, because JP was a one-on-one guy.
John Clark and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Brandon, I wish you the very best in retirement. We're going to miss you in the locker room. Ultimate pro. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
I want to go back to when you decided to go public with what you were battling. I'm trying to go back, but I think Kevin Love maybe in 2017 was very open. Were there a couple people maybe that you pointed to that you said, you know what, they did this and I can come out publicly? And then how important for you is it to be part of what is happening now, where mental health, it's acceptable to now come out and discuss these things with the public and help people?
Yeah, back in 16, how do I even describe it? It was a crazy time. But yeah, back in 16, after the second time it happened, we realized what it was, and got diagnosed with stuff like that. You go one of two ways, right? Do you not say anything? Do you just say it and call it a day? How do you do that? And you had some people that were like, yeah, man, tell your truth. You had some people that were like, nah, you probably shouldn't do that. Just leave it alone. And at that time, it wasn't a whole lot of athletes, speaking on it. It wasn't a whole lot of athletes, speaking of that. And for me, I've always wanted to be, truthful and upfront about, what I was going through. So, that was kind of how I started, and really what happened. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what I was going to say, to be honest. I didn't know how I was going to voice it, didn't know how it was going to be taken. I didn't know what was going to happen. But, I just wanted to get my truth out there, because I do understand that, people go through it. And, some people are ashamed to speak on it. Some people are, ashamed to get help. And I just wanted to, I don't know, voice my story, hoping that people who are in this situation, just reach out and say that, they shouldn't be embarrassed, shouldn't be ashamed. It's okay to get help. It's okay to talk to people about it. And, in 17, 18, going forward with, other athletes, I mean, it's I love to see it. People go through things, at this level. You push yourself to be the best, and there's so much you sacrifice and give, to your sport, that, sometimes, you go through things, or you're fighting inner demons from, childhood, or, past experiences that come out in it. And, for me, it was just, just saying it's okay, and I'm happy that, a ton of athletes and people are coming out to, let everybody else know it's okay too, that, they go through it just like I go through it, just like, other people go through it. So I love the direction, that it's going, and I'm glad it's, an open thing, a public thing, and, people feel that they have the platform and the voice, to speak on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for a few more here, so we'll go Bo Wolf, Chris Franklin, and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Brandon, congratulations again, and thank you. A couple quick ones for you. What was your first impression? What was your first impression of Stout? How quickly did you think that he was going to be the guy who could help you get to the best? And then just on retirement, what are you most looking forward to, and what do you think you're going to miss the most at that point?
My first impression about Stout. Man. Everywhere Stout has been, they won, and they've had great offensive lines. And I don't think that's any coincidence. Me and Stout, it's just a family relationship. And the first memory is, or the first thing that I got from him, because I'll tell you what, Stout always gonna shoot you straight. There is no, sugarcoating. One thing I really love about Stout, he's gonna tell you exactly what it is, exactly how it is. And when I came from Houston, he was like, yeah, I watched your tape. Yeah, you probably need to get your hands inside and do X, Y, and Z. I'm yeah, this is the coach I needed. But then it's one thing to talk it, but then you look in the room. Well, you got Jason Kelsey, you got Lane Johnson, you got Jason Peters. I think he knows what he's doing. And then from there, just getting adjusted to his style and, who he is and how he coaches. We have some days where, we butt heads, but, what family doesn't, right? But after, that first year, I mean, it was just complete faith and trust in him, I mean, that was just my first impression, just the type of person and coach he was, what he had accomplished, what he's trying to do. And, every day, he comes in here, it's like he won a Super Bowl. His excitement, his passion is just unmatched. He loves what he does every day. it's infectious to us. We love seeing him every day. We love having him coach us every day. No matter at what level you're at, rookie, good player, great player, like he's going to be a stickler for all these guys. Everything, little steps, hand placement, the whole nine. He's going to constantly be on you until you are your best. And then when you are your best, he's going to, push you to even raise your standard. And that's what he did for me. So, that was my first impression. And then, what was the second half?
What are you most looking forward to, and what are you going to miss the most?
I can tell you what I'm gonna miss the most. Going out there playing in the link on Sundays. That'll be number one. Number two, the locker room. It's a unique set of guys, personalities. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your circumstances are, what your race is. At the end of the day, it's can you play football or not? And I've had some of the greatest times of my life with some of the best people that you can encounter, over these past 10 years. And, I've made a lot of friends for life, but, that's what I'm going to miss. That's what I'm going to miss.
Thank you.
Final two here from Chris Franklin and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Brandon, congrats on your retirement, man. You mentioned that you're going to go back to school for business. I mean, what drew you to that aspect of it? And then what's the long-term goals with that? Do you have a big project or a big business in mind when it comes to there?
So it started back in 2012. You come into a lot of money, early, and, you sacrifice a lot to get there. And I just realized for me, I didn't, know enough about business and finances, at that time. So I kind of, went on a journey to, learn more about it. And that's when I started doing like internships and stuff, and, in the off season. And, I realized, I have a passion for this. And so that's why, like I said earlier, I'm going to apply to Penn Business School and, see what happens. So, that's kind of how I started and why, I'm pursuing it. And then really after grad school, just want to see, what opportunities and options are out there. And then one thing I forgot is I think everybody on here has seen that 30 for 30 broke, right? So what is it, like 88% go broke? And, I couldn't, I didn't want to have that happen to me. So I just thought it was important to learn about money, learn about investing, learn about, how to read your portfolio and things like that. So, big projects, just, once I get down grad school, see, where life takes me and, what I'm able to do, open to all options.
Final one here from Ed Kratz.
Hey, hi, Brandon. Wish this was in person so we could shake your hand and wish you luck. Hopefully we'll see you around maybe the NovaCare during training camp or something. I just wanted to ask you, you said you had been thinking of retirement since the off season, but was there any moment of clarity when you woke up and said, yeah, this is when I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to do. And did you lean on any of your teammates current to kind of talk you through the process or consult them as to, what you would do with this decision?
I wouldn't say it was a moment of clarity. It's just, at what point do you listen to your body? It's one thing to have an injury or two, even, one or two big injuries, but I'm having injury after injury. At what point do I listen? When I blow out my knee or, when something crazy happens. That was one. But yeah, I talked to, older players, Arian Foster's, talked to Wayne Brown, JP, Kelsey, guys like that, Selleck. Talk to all those guys about it. At the end of the day, it's a decision you have to make for yourself because it is your career. So, like I said, I wouldn't say it was just a moment of clarity, but, you know, as time went on, you know, just it became clear it was just the right choice.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate the time today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.